You have been lied to about money. They told you to work hard, to save diligently, to live below your means. They told you that money is just a tool, and that ethical, honest labor is the path to wealth. This is the most dangerous lie of all. It is the moral anesthetic they give you while they drain your pockets. Niccolò Machiavelli, a man who understood the brutal mechanics of power, knew the truth. Money is not a tool. Money is a weapon, and you have been taught to fight a war with a dinner fork. Think about your life, the constant, low-level anxiety about bills, the quiet desperation of watching your savings get eaten alive by inflation, the feeling of being trapped in a job you hate, a prisoner of your own paycheck. You follow all the rules. You cut back on coffee. You put a little away each month. Yet you are not getting richer. You are just getting older. You see others, seemingly no smarter than you, who seem to operate by a different set of rules. They take risks that seem insane. They talk about debt not as a burden, but as a tool. They seem to play a different game entirely, and they are winning. You feel a mix of envy and contempt. You tell yourself they are greedy, unethical, lucky. But deep down, you have a terrifying suspicion. What if they are not lucky? What if they just know something you don't? They do. They know the secret that has been passed down through generations of the wealthy and powerful. A secret that Machiavelli codified 500 years ago. The world of money is not governed by the rules of Main Street. It is governed by the ruthless, paradoxical logic of a prince securing his kingdom. Today, we are going to teach you that logic. This is not a guide to investing. This is a deconstruction of the psychology of wealth. We will burn the noble lies you were taught and give you the 3 forbidden laws of money that the rich use to stay rich and to keep you poor. To understand the game of wealth, you must first accept one brutal truth. The financial system is not designed to make you rich. It is designed to make you a compliant, predictable, and profitable source of liquidity. Your savings in the bank? That's not your money. It's the bank's cheap capital, which they leverage 100 times over. Your steady paycheck? It's not a reward for your hard work. It is the minimum amount of money required to keep you showing up every day, creating far more value for the owners than you will ever see. Your fear of debt? It is the psychological fence that keeps you trapped in the pasture of the working class. You have been taught to think like a peasant. A peasant works hard, saves his coins, fears the Lord, and hopes for a good harvest. He plays defense. The rich, the princes of the modern world, do not think like peasants. They think like Machiavelli. They do not play defense. They play offense. They do not seek to earn. They seek to conquer. They understand that wealth is not about hoarding money. It is about controlling systems that generate money. This mindset shift is everything, and it is built on 3 pillars, 3 laws that are the direct opposite of everything you have been taught. The first and most important law is that wealth is control, not comfort. This is the foundational lie that keeps the middle class trapped. You have been programmed to think that the goal of money is to buy things. A bigger house, a faster car, a nicer vacation. You have been taught to be a consumer. The more you earn, the more you spend. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the most elegant prison ever designed. Because a man who is addicted to comfort, a man whose monthly expenses are a monument to his ego, is a man in golden chains. He cannot quit his job. He cannot take a risk. He cannot speak his mind. His beautiful house owns him. His expensive car owns him. He is a king in a kingdom of things, but a slave in the world of men. The Machiavellian strategist understands that the true purpose of money is not consumption. It is sovereignty. It is the accumulation of options. The ability to say no to a boss you don't respect. The freedom to walk away from a deal that compromises your values. The power to survive a crisis without panicking. The option to disappear for a year to write a book, to learn a skill, to rebuild your soul. This is true wealth. It is not the number in your bank account. It is the number of mornings you can wake up and do exactly what the hell you want to do. Look at the truly powerful. Do they spend their time showing off their wealth? Some do. The new money fools. But the old masters, the silent princes, they live differently. They may have immense wealth, but they often live modestly. Their power is not in what they have, but in what they control. They control their time. They control their networks. They control their own destiny. They use money not to buy more toys, but to buy more freedom. This is the first shift you must make. Stop asking, "What can I buy with this money?" And start asking, "How much freedom, how many options can this money purchase for me?" Stop building a prison of comfort. Start building a fortress of sovereignty. The second law is that debt is a weapon, and it can be used for you or against you. You were taught that all debt is bad. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. This is the morality of the peasant. It is designed to keep you small and safe. It is a philosophy of fear, and it guarantees that you will never achieve true wealth. Why? Because the entire modern financial system is built on one single powerful principle: leverage. The ability to control large assets with a small amount of your own money. The rich understand this. They do not fear debt. They wield it. They use what is called good debt to acquire assets that generate more money than the debt costs. They borrow money at 3% to buy a real estate portfolio that returns 10%. They use the bank's money, the system's money, to build their own empire. They are using your savings, sitting in the bank and earning you a pathetic 1% to make themselves rich. This is the great game you were never invited to play. You, on the other hand, have been encouraged to take on bad debt, the credit card debt for a vacation you couldn't afford, the car loan for a depreciating asset. This is debt that buys you liabilities, not assets. This is debt that makes you a slave. It is the invisible chain around your neck, forcing you to keep running on the hamster wheel of your job just to make the minimum payments. The system loves when you are in bad debt, because a man in debt is a man who cannot say no. He is the perfect, obedient employee. Machiavelli would have understood this instantly. He would have seen that debt is simply a tool of control. Used against you, it is a form of tribute you pay to your masters. Used by you, it is a way to raise an army with someone else's gold. The strategic question is not, is debt good or bad? The question is, who is the master and who is the slave in this transaction? Does this debt buy you an asset that will pay you while you sleep? Or does it buy you a temporary comfort that will demand your labor for years to come? The peasant fears all debt. The prince understands the difference between the chains of a slave and the sword of a conqueror. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Niccolò Machiavelli. The third and most brutal law is that safety is a lie and risk is a necessity. You are taught to be prudent, to put your money in a safe savings account, to invest in secure bonds, to avoid the dangerous stock market. This is the single greatest piece of financial misinformation ever perpetuated on the middle class. And it is a lie that guarantees your slow financial death. What they call safety is an illusion. Your money in the bank is not safe. It is being silently eaten alive every single day by the invisible cancer of inflation. The 2% interest you earn is a joke compared to the 5, 7, or 10% real-world inflation that erodes your purchasing power. Your safe strategy is a guaranteed loss. You are not saving. You are on a sinking ship, congratulating yourself for not rocking the boat. Machiavelli knew that in a chaotic and constantly changing world, the greatest risk is to take no risk at all. He wrote, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." The deception of the modern financial system is the illusion of safety. They sell you security while they are taking your wealth. The true strategist understands that fortune favors the bold. He does not avoid risk. He manages it. He does not gamble. He makes calculated, asymmetrical bets. Bets where the potential upside is enormous and the potential downside is limited. The peasant saves $100. The prince invests $100 in a calculated risk. The peasant is guaranteed to have $100, which will be worth $95 next year. The prince might lose his $100, or he might turn it into $1,000. Over a lifetime, the peasant is guaranteed to go broke slowly. The prince is statistically likely to become wealthy. This is not about being reckless. It is about understanding that in the game of wealth, you cannot win by playing defense. The only way to beat the relentless erosion of inflation is to grow your capital faster than the system can devalue it. And that requires embracing calculated, intelligent risk. It requires courage. It requires you to abandon the peasant's fear of loss and adopt the prince's hunger for conquest. The game is rigged, but it is rigged in favor of those who understand the rules. The rules are simple. The system rewards risk-takers and punishes savers. You can cry that it's unfair, or you can learn the rules and start playing to win. So you see the forbidden's laws. Wealth is not comfort. It is control. Debt is not a sin. It is a weapon. Safety is not a virtue. It is a slow death. This is the operating system of the rich. A system that runs on logic that is the polar opposite of everything you have been taught. The game of money is not about math. It is about psychology. It is not about how much you earn. It is about how you think. The system is designed to keep you in a state of fear. Fear of debt, fear of risk, fear of instability. And this fear keeps you making safe, predictable, and ultimately unprofitable decisions. The secret of the rich is not that they have more money. It is that they have a different relationship with fear. They have mastered the psychology of risk. And once you master that, the numbers simply follow. So how do you begin to deprogram yourself from the peasant mindset and install the mind of a prince? This is not about becoming a different person overnight. It is about taking small, deliberate, Strategic actions that slowly change your relationship with money and power. First, conduct a sovereignty audit. For 1 week, track every single dollar you spend. But instead of just tracking the numbers, I want you to assign each purchase to one of 2 categories: comfort or control. That expensive coffee? Comfort. That book on a new skill? Control. That new streaming subscription? Comfort. That one share of a solid index fund? Control. At the end of the week, look at the ratio. Are you buying fleeting comforts? Or are you buying your own freedom? This simple exercise will reveal the truth about your real financial priorities. Second, find and study a good debt opportunity. You are not going to take on debt yet. You are going to train your mind to see it differently. Spend the next month researching one type of good debt. It could be real estate. It could be starting a small business. Your goal is not to invest, but to educate. Learn the language. Understand the mechanics. See how the wealthy use the bank's money to build their own empires. You are transforming debt from a monster under the bed into a tool on the workbench. Third, make one small, asymmetrical bet. Take an amount of money you are completely comfortable losing. $100, $50, $10, and place it on a calculated, high-risk, high-reward bet. It could be a small investment in a volatile but promising technology. It could be buying a domain name for a business idea you've been sitting on. The goal is not to get rich. The goal is to get comfortable with the feeling of taking a risk, to prove to your nervous system that you can place a bet and the world will not end. You are building your risk muscle, and a strong risk muscle is the most valuable asset you will ever own. You have been given the keys to a forbidden kingdom. You now understand that money is not just a tool for survival. It is the primary language of power in the modern world. You see the noble lies that are designed to keep you in your place, to keep you a fearful, obedient, and profitable cog in a machine you do not own. What you do with this knowledge will define the rest of your financial life. You can retreat back into the comfortable lie. You can continue to save your pennies, fearing debt, avoiding risk, and wondering why you are never getting ahead. You can go back to playing their game. Or you can start playing yours. You can accept the brutal Machiavellian reality of the financial world and use that knowledge not just for personal gain, but to build a life of true sovereignty, to protect your family, to fund your purpose, to become a force for order in your own life. The ultimate purpose of wealth is not to have a nice house. It is to never, ever be afraid again. The poor man thinks about saving money. The rich man thinks about using money. But the prince thinks about creating systems that make money for him while he sleeps. If you are ready to stop thinking like a peasant and start thinking like a prince, then make your declaration. Join the men and women who are choosing to be masters, not slaves, of money. Go to the comments and declare your new mindset. Write, "I am the prince." It is a declaration of your new relationship with power, a commitment to playing the game to win. Subscribe to the Thinker's Codex. Your real financial education has just begun.